Okay, if you watched Quiet on Set about the Nickelodeon childhood actors and what they went through, which I did, I binged it all on a flight recently, you are going to be amazed to hear this story that I'm sure Disney hopes that we would all just forget about. If you've ever seen this classic film with Burl Ives and some really adorably cute children called So Dear to My Heart. It's an old, classic live action Disney movie. And the main character is the little boy in the middle who is Bobby Driscoll. You probably know Bobby, even if you've never seen this movie, because he was the voice and character actor that they based Peter Pan on. And Bobby's story is very, very sad. So he was in a number of movies with Disney and with other studios back in the day, I think in the 50s. And of course, he made a lot of money then, but he had a very difficult transition out of adulthood. He started to get acne in his teenage years, and they stopped giving him work. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened to him. So Bobby Driscoll comes in 1943 to 1960, so really spanning 40s and 50s at Walt Disney. He was in Song of the South, So Dear to My Heart, Treasure Island, and then of course the voice and model for Peter Pan. He won a Academy Juvenile Award, so he even has an Oscar. Then as he leaves television and film, he does a few random TV jobs, but he is sentenced to prison for illicit drug use. And he's has a lot of problems with substance abuse. He gets married very early, has a kid or two, and kind of abandons those kids. And then he was he died, and no one even knew where he was. His body was not claimed, and he was buried in the East Village. His body was discovered in the East Village of Manhattan in an abandoned building. So he experienced heart failure from all of the drug use that he had done. He was barely 30 years old. They couldn't identify the body, and he ends up in an unclaimed body in an unmarked pauper's grave in New York City's Potter Field on Hart Island in 1968, I believe. So very young death, very sad adult time that he had. His mother went looking for him and was trying to find him so that she could hopefully reunite with him, and to no avail because he was already gone. So Bobby Driscoll describes the process of leaving sort of the Hollywood life as saying, "I have found that memories are not very useful. I was carried on a silver platter and then dumped into the garbage." And, who knows what went on behind the scenes back then, because there were even fewer protections for childhood actors at the time. But I will say, obviously, Peter Pan is a classic, and his voice is iconic in that. But So Dear to My Heart is a beautiful little movie, and is very sweet. I remember it being one of the movies we would show to my kids when they were little. But just what happened to Bobby Driscoll, super sad. There was probably a lot more that we'll never know, because Bobby did die so young. But he did marry and have a couple of kids. So hopefully those kids, I hope that they got closure over time.